when we speak about money coming into Europe, there's kind of a misconception because people tend to aggregate China for everything that is Far East Asia and Middle East for everything that is in the GCC countries. The reality is each of those investors underwrites and look at life in quite a different way. They all have their metrics and they all want something different. So the way we see it at JLL is the Middle East, for example, would be mostly Qatar, the UAE, and KSA. KSA will want fixed leases when Qatar will want trophy assets with management agreements. The UAE would, for example, have an institutional investor like ADIA would be looking at something much bigger where they can be competitive with their own thesis. Going into Asia, it's really, what we see is really the Thai investors, the Singaporean investors, the Hong Kong investors, and then some mainland China. The mainland China bit, as everybody knows, has decreased right now because we're all waiting for the 19th Congress to know what's going to happen, whereas Thai investors have increased their allocation to Europe, Singaporean investors have increased their allocation to Europe, and Hong Kong investors have increased their allocation to Europe. The reason why, in their markets, they're finding the yield compression and the cost of debt to push them to come to our regions, where they find, despite the low yield environment, when you add debt to it, when you look at the real estate itself, it's quite accretive. And over the next 12 months, we think these flow of capital will not stop. We don't see any indicator telling us that one of them will be short. I do think that private equities from the US know that in Europe it's going to be harder to compete because all the NPL portfolios that we had seen, all the distressed opportunities that we have seen are now more or less gone or going. So what they are doing is they are raising lower cost of capital core plus funds that allows them to compete in this environment and keep on going with transactions.
Thank you very much.
Great.
Thank you.
Very nice. Lovely.